So in terms of thinking about engaged scholarship, I think there are some general strategies that are helpful as you think about your work and how to move it forward. And the first thing is to talk to people. Most people love to be asked for advice, and everyone has expertise. And so I think if you are willing to contact your colleagues, your engagement office, your community liaisons, your community partner anchors who do a lot of work, and just ask them, what are your scholarship strategies? And I think a lot of them can sort of get some new insights. I think if you just contact a person and ask, and have right at the moment a Zoom call. The person who told me about this said, I love to buy people a cup of coffee and pick their brain for an hour or 45 minutes. So hopefully that will be coming back again in the future. But again, I think if you just ask, you'll get a wealth of information. It's really wonderful, I think, to work with each other, to work together, and thinking about planning. If you're doing, for example, a service learning class, chances are the community partner and the faculty member are meeting together before the semester starts to plan the project. And if you want to disseminate a piece of engaged scholarship, you can have conversations about what that will look like in the same meeting. And so it's really a matter of just as a professor might have a particular mission or objectives with regard to their service learning class, and the community partner also has that mission with regard to their organization. You just find where those areas of overlap are. You can not only plan what's going to happen with the projects and the students. Again, you can also plan, do we want to disseminate something about this, whether it's a workshop or a performance or a grant proposal, et cetera, et cetera. So think about all those different products of scholarship when you're doing that. And if you are interested in writing something or applying for grant funding, I would strongly, strongly, strongly encourage you to contact your potential publication outlets or your potential funders as you shape your ideas. Because people who are, the contact folks for these groups, part of their job is to answer questions from prospective applicants. And it helps us to share our knowledge. And you're going to get a lot more information if you ask, I think, than just by reading, say, a request for a paper or a request for a grant proposal. You can also engage in professional development if you feel like you need to develop your skills in some area with regard to engaged scholarship. And there are plenty of workshops for those types of skills to develop those. And so all these different bullets, essentially, if you look them up, they will give you a wealth of information on trying to develop those engaged scholarship strategies. So again, some of these are virtual right now, but I think we're gonna, get rolling in person, I hope, certainly by 2022. So campus community partnerships for health is fabulous. If you have anything to do with a health profession, the Engagement Scholarship Consortium is also like a really nice area conference. IR Slice, again, is sort of the premier research on civic engagement, I think, organization and conference at this point. And at Gulf South Summit down at the bottom, that's how Dave and I met. And that is a really wonderful, welcoming group of people who do a great job of mixing, I think, engagement and storytelling, and celebrating their work. So again, another general strategy for working in engaged scholarship is to do a little bit of research. So just sort of be, and then trying to find gaps in the literature that correspond to that type of work that you want to do. So years ago, I was actually a service learning director at LSU, and my assistant director was her background was in communications, mass comm. And she said, you know, I keep reading these articles, and she wrote press releases for a lot of our partnerships as well. And she said, you know, I'm really sort of frustrated because whenever you work with university communications people, they really want to talk about the university's contribution to a civic engagement project, but they're not as focused generally on the community piece. And if they are, they tend to run toward this charity model, which runs counter to everything that we do. And so, you know, she engaged with some of the community, the university mass comm folks to try to educate them on, you know, what good mass comm looks like if you're trying to carefully and correctly portray a partnership. And she wound up doing a research project to say, you know, this problem that we're having at LSU, I wonder if this is specific to us or if it's a problem elsewhere. And so she wound up choosing about 6 model institutions that had the Carnegie classification and that made the President's Honor Roll and engagement. In other words, you know, essentially top ranked universities in engagement. And she wound up looking at a number of their articles, you know, published online, published in the newspaper, et cetera, to see, you know, how are partnerships portrayed. And she was sort of looking at, you know, are these partnerships transactional? Are they charity based? Are they actually, you know, nuanced? And do they fully describe a wonderful, equitable partnership? And so she wound up writing up that work, and that got published in the Michigan Journal of Community Service Learning, which is one of the top civic engagement journals there is. So again, just from like, you know, I'm wondering, I'm seeing that there's an issue here, and let me jump into the literature, and guess what? There isn't anything. And so let me find out more about this and disseminate it. When you start to look at scholarship, if you can, again, if you don't back into it, try to plan from the start with, I have publication, the word publication there, and it could be publication, but again, thinking broadly about scholarship and products of that, have some information in mind. So in other words, you want to know what your goals are. Do you have objectives that are measurable so that you know if you achieve them or not when you finish the project? Can you add in an assessment piece? You know, did it work? Maybe an evaluative piece. What did you do well? What could you do better next time? Every university has an institutional review board. If you're doing any sort of research that involves human subjects, you want to make sure that you go through that IRB. And Nancy Franz, again, she was the woman who came up with all the different products of scholarship. She talked about how when she was working with engaged scholarship, what they would do at the beginning of a large project was to figure out all the different products of scholarship that they were going to produce as a result of their collaboration over, say, a 2 to 4 year period. And then they would literally have a point person for each product of scholarship. And that person was in charge of producing that piece. And they also had a timeline of when that would happen. And so in that way, they shared that load. They were accountable to each other. But that, you know, they were very strategic and thoughtful about what are the products that we want to produce, how are we going to produce them, and when are they going to come out. And I think that's a wonderful model for engaged scholarship. So again, got some more reflection questions if you just want to sort of sit and I guess I'll give everybody again a minute or two and then we can talk some more. But, you know, again, in thinking about your own work, what products of engaged scholarship can you create? Who are you going to collaborate with? Are there opportunities that you can see for scholarship in your work? And what might you do to enhance your chances for success? So I'm going to, again, give you all a couple minutes to sort of think about that, and then we can talk some more.